They say the world once knew no pain, until one woman lifted a lid she was never meant to touch. Imagine a time before suffering existed, no sickness, no death, and one moment of curiosity destroyed it all. What if humanity's greatest tragedies began with a single breath, a trembling hand, and a forbidden jar? She was crafted by gods, and she was blessed with every gift, and destined to unleash every nightmare. The day Pandora opened the jar, humanity's innocence died. But something else escaped too, something the gods never intended. We blame Pandora for releasing evil, but what if she was only a pawn in a much darker divine conspiracy? Humanity remembers her as a curse. One woman, one jar, one decision that reshaped human destiny forever. This is Pandora's true story. Welcome to this exciting episode of the channel, The Eternal Odyssey, where we explore the stories of myths and fantasies. Chapter 1, The Forbidden Beginning. In the hush before creation had fully settled, when gods still walked among mortals and destinies were written in fire, there existed a single moment that would change humanity forever. A moment sealed inside a jar, waiting to be opened. Imagine a world where suffering did not yet exist, where mankind lived untouched by sickness, untouched by despair, untouched by death's quiet cruelty. But imagine also a god, Zeus, the ruler of Olympus, watching the glow of stolen fire flicker in human hands. A flame gifted not by divine benevolence, but by defiance. Prometheus, the titan who loved humankind more than any god dared, had carried fire to earth in secret, hidden inside a fennel stalk. Igniting a revolution Zeus never forgave. And so begins our tale, with anger, vengeance, and a plan that would weaponize curiosity itself. Zeus did not merely wish to punish Prometheus, he wanted to curse the entire mortal race, to bind them to a fate shaped by divine retribution. And so, he summoned Hephaestus, master craftsman of Olympus, to forge something unprecedented. Not a tool, not a weapon, but a living being sculpted from earth and water. A woman whose existence would become the hinge upon which human destiny would turn. Chapter 2, The Creation of Pandora. When Hephaestus shaped the clay, it glowed with divine intent, molded with precision, warmed by the breath of the gods. The figure he sculpted was flawless, intricate, and strangely alive. But Zeus wanted more than beauty. He wanted a lore wrapped in danger. One by one, the gods bestowed gifts upon this creation. Athena draped her in wisdom and taught her the grace of weaving. Aphrodite breathed beauty into her form, enchanting enough to rival the dawn. Hermes whispered into her heart the spark of cunning, mischief, and persuasive words. Hera added curiosity, a seed that would one day bloom into catastrophe. And even the lesser gods contributed, clothing her in charm, music, craftsmanship, and desire. When the final touch was laid, she stood as the first woman, Pandora, the one who bears all gifts. She shimmered with talents that delighted and disarmed. But beneath those divine blessings lay an invisible thread pulled tight with destiny. Zeus smiled, knowing that the most dangerous weapon is one that looks harmless. But to complete his trap, he gave her a gift unlike any other god did, Epimetheus, a jar sealed with mysterious weight, warning her with feigned sincerity never to open it. He knew, as gods often do, that forbidden things call the loudest. Chapter 3, The Arrival to Epimetheus. While Prometheus suffered punishment for his betrayal, chained to a desolate rock as an eagle tore at his immortal flesh, Zeus turned his attention to the Titan's brother, Epimetheus, whose name meant afterthought, a fitting flaw. Prometheus had warned him, begged him, commanded him even, accept no gift from Zeus. Nothing he gives comes without a hidden sting. But when Pandora arrived at his doorstep, radiant, graceful, and carrying the very essence of divine craftsmanship. Epimetheus' resolve shattered like thin glass. He welcomed her, forgetting warnings, forgetting consequences, forgetting that beauty can be the mask of ruin. Their life together began peacefully, with laughter echoing in their home and the gods' gifts seeming, for a time, like blessings. But in the corner of their dwelling lay the jar, sealed but humming with secrets. Pandora felt it long before she touched it. A presence, a whisper, a pulse stronger than reason. Curiosity grew inside her like ivy, winding around her thoughts, tightening each day. The gods had woven this into her soul, a compulsion destined to be fulfilled. Chapter 4, the opening of the jar. The moment came without ceremony. Perhaps it was a quiet afternoon, sunlight filtering through their home, casting the jar in a glow that made it seem almost alive. Perhaps it was night, when silence amplifies secrets. No one knows, but we know this. Pandora approached the jar, her heart beat loud in her ears, her fingers trembling yet longing. She touched the lid, cold as winter, and felt something shift within, like wings scraping against confinement. One thought echoed in her mind. What harm could a single look do? And so, with a breath caught between fear and desire, she lifted the lid. Darkness erupted, not the still darkness of a moonless night, but a violent, swirling storm of shapes and shrieks. Out of the jar poured evils the world had never known. Hatred unfurled first like black ink, staining the air. War burst out with a roar that cracked the silence. Disease slithered forth. Invisible, yet deadly, hunger clawed at the edges like a starved beast. Death spread its cold shadow. Envy, greed, plague, madness, despair, each a spirit born of divine vengeance. They escaped into the world, scattering across lands, seeping into human hearts, poisoning existence itself. Pandora screamed, trying to force the lid down. But it was too late. Too much had escaped. Too much had already been unleashed. Epimetheus rushed to her side, horror etched on his face, realizing too late that Prometheus's warning had finally found its meaning. Chapter 5, The Last Gift. When Pandora finally managed to seal the jar, the world had already changed. Silence returned, heavy and suffocating. But something still moved inside the jar, softly, weakly, like the faint flutter of a dying bird. Pandora, trembling, lifted the lid one final time. From the darkness rose a small, delicate figure glowing with gentle golden light. It was not another evil, but a gift Zeus had not anticipated the impact of. Elpis, the hope. The Greeks debated for centuries whether hope was a blessing or a cruel prolonging of suffering. But in that moment, to Pandora and Epimetheus, it was salvation. Hope drifted out into the wounded world, offering consolation where despair had taken root, guiding humanity through the storms unleashed upon them. Even today, myths whisper that while suffering touches every human life, hope endures as the counterpart to pain, ensuring that no darkness is absolute. Chapter 6, The Legacy of Pandora. Pandora's story became more than a myth. It became a lens through which ancient people understood the origin of suffering, the burden of curiosity, and the fragile brilliance of hope. She was blamed, pitied, misunderstood, and reshaped across centuries. Some saw her as naive, others as manipulated, others as symbolic of the unpredictable nature of existence. But at its heart, her story is not merely about punishment or transgression. It is about the duality woven into human life, the ability to destroy and the ability to endure. Every hardship traces its lineage back to that moment when curiosity met fate. But every act of resilience traces its lineage to the small glow that remained inside the Pythos. And so the tale of Pandora persists, timeless, haunting, and deeply human, a reminder that even when the world unleashes its darkest trials, hope, however fragile, survives. If you enjoyed this cinematic journey into one of mythology's most powerful stories, let the flame of curiosity guide you further. Please like, share, and subscribe for more epic tales from the ancient world. Thank you!